Mics are on.
Ready? I call today's meeting of the Board of Elections and Registration for Spalding County to order at this time. Please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices. And join us in a invocation by Jim O'Brien.
Let us pray. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Jesus, God of Muhammad, our God too, we ask your presence as we meet this evening. May everything we do and everything we say be in service of the people of Spalding County. And may we listen to one another with our hearts. And when we stray, Lord, bring us back. May we always remember that we are here to serve the people of Spalding County. We make our prayer in your name, for you are the living God, now and forever. Amen.
Amen. And Roy will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will proceed with citizens' comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and the topic they wish to discuss. Speakers must address your remarks to the board and not to individual board members or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual board members or employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the board's business in an efficient and respectable manner. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topic as they relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of the Board of Elections and Registration. No questions will be asked by any of the board members during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speaker will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Ron Hoffman, are you here? You're first.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for serving on this board and taking time away from your evenings and your families to be here. About a year and a half ago, November of 2020, I served on the election audit that happened in this county. I spent about 5 days of my time doing it, and I realized I've never shared with this board some of the things that I saw and witnessed, and I can only give you some cliff notes here real quickly, but it was very disturbing, a lot of things that I noticed. A lot of the computers in the office were open. There were no passwords. In fact, there was a scanner password that was visible for anybody that walked in there to see. When we were doing the voter review board, where there were 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats that would look at any ballots that really was almost indistinguishable what was supposed to be voted for, the supervisor said that she was the final authority on what was going to be tallied from that particular ballot. And it was almost like, why were we even there? During the time, the Pro-V&V team came in and did a audit of the actual Dominion machines. And they were in there for less than 10 minutes and did nothing more than turn the machines on to verify that they were actually working. They never actually went in, looked at the code, looked at what the machines were doing, because the machines spit out a QR code that measures what we supposedly voted, and we can't even read that. And that was disturbing in and of itself. One of the members of the voter review board, as we were just talking, because there was a lot of downtime during the sessions that we were doing, he admitted that there was counting of ballots before November 3rd in a back room. And he talked about those experiences, and that certainly should never have happened. And then I witnessed the count of Spalding County Precinct 18 of the Election Day votes as we were doing the recount. And the numbers that I noticed that were recorded by one of the officials there were off by a total of 119 votes, when the official and the recount numbers were off by 97 votes for the entire county. And that was one precinct, just Election Day votes, off by 119, and the official numbers that were given to the Secretary of State's office were off by 97. And this whole process, it was like peeling back the curtain from The Wizard of Oz. And it shattered my entire belief in the way we do elections. And the measures that you put in place to guard the integrity of our elections is so critical. It is so important. And I thank you all for what you are doing. I was a big proponent. In fact, that was the last election I voted early on. I always voted the first day of early voting. I'm now totally against any early voting because of the shenanigans that I witnessed and was a part of. And the Constitution says 1 day for elections, and that's what it should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Are
sir.
we able to get a copy of that report?
Which report?
The report that we were just discussing, or was just mentioned to us, are we able to get a copy of that?
Do you have a copy?
Thank you. Would you give it to the attorney, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. I now call on, is this Summer? Summer? Yes, okay. What's your last name?
Clackham.
Okay, Summer Clacken.
All right, so since
Name and address, please.
oh, right. I'm Summer Clackham. I live at 1959 Williams Mill Road, and I have family here in Griffin who wanted me to come and talk about Sunday voting. Since October, it's apparent that especially among Spalding County's Black community that the voters want Sunday voting, but I understand that the election board's issue is that it got cut out of the budget. It would have cost approximately $1,000 if my information is correct. So I found that IRS Code 26 USC 70C1 allows citizens to donate to local governments for public projects as long as they don't benefit from them. I live in Pike County, so I can't vote in Spalding County. Me and others from outside the county who cannot benefit from this are prepared to donate up to $1,000 to help in-state Sunday voting. I think this is all legal, but I am not an attorney, so I am not sure I would need the board's approval, and I am ready to give out contact information.
Okay, you can give us that contact information. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm just writing down my contact information.
Thank you very much. Carmen Torres.
Carmen Torres, 416 South 6th Street, Griffin, Georgia. Again, back to Sunday voting. It is absolutely necessary. We spent a lot of time the last meeting talking about the infringement, on how many feel about it impeding on the Lord's Day. However, I met a lot of people while in line last year, because I had childcare that day, who just got out of church in their Sunday clothes. We discussed many matters. I actually had a really good time standing in line. And again, many of us live different types of lives, and many people were there for various reasons. And while we have the thousand.
Wasn't you? No, you have another minute.
And while, yes, there was in the budget, and it's $1,000, there was $10,000 spent for an attorney to speak. So I think if we can find $10,000 for a representative to speak, I think we can get $1,000 for Sunday voting. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Yoshonda Jones.
I just wanted to remind the board members of their words with the last vote for Sunday voting, in stating that the cost was $1,000 and that members would have no problem voting yes for the next election, as a reminder, in favor of Sunday voting. I know we keep revisiting a year and 4 months ago, so I want us to revisit Sunday, March 7th from 1965. 600 marchers assembled in Selma on Sunday, March 7th, and led by John Lewis and other SNCC and SCLC activists crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge over the Alabama River en route to Montgomery. Just short of the bridge, they found their way blocked by Alabama state troopers and local police, who ordered them to turn around. When the protesters refused, the officers shot tear gas and waded into the crowd, beating the nonviolent protesters with billy clubs, sicking German shepherds on them, where they tore their clothes and ripped their skin, and used high-pressure fire hoses, hospitalizing over 50 people. Right before that, Jimmy Lee Jackson, an unarmed volunteer to help citizens to vote, was also violently murdered. So, I would like to request that Sunday voting is reinstated, and I would like to use the rest of my time to commemorate Bloody Sunday with the moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zachary Fuller, are you here?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Zachary Fuller. I live at 1708 West Poplar Street. And I would just like to say that the removal of Sunday voting is a disenfranchisement of working class people. And when I say working class people, I mean anyone who has to work full-time, 40 hours a week or more. A lot of people, especially in Spalding County, work more than 40 hours a week, which is a lot of time out of your day. A lot of people are parents and have to deal with a lot and don't have a lot of time to do something like go and vote, especially in certain situations where there are long lines, which you cannot predict beforehand. So this affects all different types of people. Now, the reason Sunday specifically does this is for two reasons. One, it's a day on, well, three reasons. One, it's a day on the weekend. And of course, on the weekends, a lot of times people have a day off. And if they do work overtime, a lot of times it's on Saturday. And so Sunday is a day you might have off, and your kids don't have to go to school to go and vote. And then also, specifically, there is a tradition in a lot of black churches of souls to the polls, where they'll go after church in groups to go and vote. And then that leads to the third issue, which is in church in general. You get dressed up, a lot of people, the majority of Spalding County are Christians. They go out on Sunday for church, and then after they get out of church, there's still multiple hours in the day where polls would be open on during the election cycle. So it's the perfect opportunity to go and vote. Now, some people feel it's inappropriate depending on their denomination and their choice of worship. But a lot of Christians and people who practice other faiths don't mind taking that time to do something and go and vote. Some of them think it's the Lord's calling to do so. So I think Sunday is the worst day, it will impede the most on people's ability to vote to get rid of. Now, personally, I don't buy the fact that you don't have enough money to run every day of the week, but if you do, because I'm not on the board, so I don't know. So if you do, I would say do a different day, not Sunday. Sunday is the most important day for the working class, which is the majority of Spalding County. The median income is only $34,000, which is not that much above the poverty line. Most people work full-time. So please consider bringing back Sunday voting. Thank you.
No outbursts from the audience. I am serious about it. No outbursts from the audience. That ends our citizens' comments. We'll now move on to adoption of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes to make to the agenda?
Not I.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion then to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Who was the second?
Yes.
You were moved it, right? And Alfred was second? Okay.
It was Alfred, and then Roy. I got in late.
Thank
It was unanimous. Have you all read the minutes from the last meeting? Any changes to the minutes? No?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking at,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. First would be the January 11th minutes
Okay.
on the agenda.
January 11th minutes. Any changes to the January 11th minutes?
not I.
No? No. Okay.
Looks good.
I'll entertain a motion then to pass the January 11th minutes. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now we're going to the February minute. Okay. And you have a change you want to make?
Yes, I'm looking at the February the 8th minutes, and at the end of the second paragraph, it says, after discussion, he, meaning
What
Mr.
page?
Page 5?
Page, thank you.
After discussion, he, meaning Mr. Nguyen, withdrew his motion. However, down at the bottom in the bold text, it says, motion and second by Mr. Nguyen and Mr. McLean to table. I don't see the minutes naming what the motion was. in my memory, we agreed to table Sunday voting in order to receive more data about funding, staffing, resources, in order to make an informed decision. It seems to me that's a critical thing that needs to be included in the minutes.
Any comments on that? No? Any objection? No? Okay. All in favor?
Are we talking about all in favor of adding?
We're all in favor of adding?
We don't have a motion to approve the
We don't need
minutes
that.
as amended.
Okay.
Motion to approve is amended.
That's what we need to do is approve.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
Okay. Did you get that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now proceed to old business. Do you have an update on the ad hoc committee regarding facilities and security?
Yes, sir. So I went to the storage facility and obtained additional information about, now this is the new storage facility, obtained information about the lease cost, the size of the storage facility that we're gonna need, and that they don't actually have a contract until probably next week, maybe even Monday or Tuesday the week after. But it'll take Spalding County that long at least to move in that direction as well. So, as far as finding a new home for those files and materials, that's about the best we can do. Security is good, it is, climate controlled, and I think that this is pretty much the only option we have anyway, but it is a good option.
Okay,
And
good.
so that would be my update at this point on the ad hoc committee. One other point, we're still waiting to get in to do the inventory. Haven't been able to do that. We're waiting on a judge to come back and give us our approval. And as soon as that happens, the attorney staff will schedule some time to get that done. And then one or two or of us or so will be able to go and actually be observers to watch that process. Once it's all inventoried and we have a file plan, we have naming conventions and all figured out, all this stuff will be easy to research and to find in the future as of right now. And I went back and looked, someone asked me about dates earlier. I went back and looked at the boxes. You cannot tell from the outside of that box what's in it, and they're technically sealed even though it's just taped up. We can't open those until we have a judge's order to allow us to do that. Did I miss anything there?
No, sir.
So that would be my ad hoc update at this point.
Just a word of explanation to those of you who aren't familiar with this. Our previous files from years past are not actually filed. They're just stored, and we have no way to access them. And in fact, we need a court order right now because they're sealed to access them. And this is no way to run a Board of Elections. So we are working on that matter right now. It's going to be a very, very big job to file these files in a system where they can be accessed in order to respond to open records requests and other needs that we have for these files.
Mr. Chairman, all of the records are not not
No,
out of
not all,
order.
no, just
It's
some.
just the ones that we need right
Right,
now, like
right.
the last couple of years. But all of them are not they're not out of order. It's just the ones that we were asked to do some open records requests on. Those are the ones that we needed and could not get into. But all of the records for years, so some of them need to be destroyed, some still need to be retained. That information need to be updated. But it's not like all of them just thrown in there. Maybe somebody's hearing that, but that's not correct. It's just the last couple years in 2020 that we need information on, we could not get.
Roy?
But to be fair, Alfred, until we look in those boxes, we don't know. And so getting the the file plan and getting, the inventory done will tell us that, and you may be right, but from what we've seen in the other files, my guess is that everything's thrown in bankrupt boxes, and it's just, when the county moved that information from one location to another, it was literally just tossed in there. We have files floor to ceiling that are about to fall over, so the sooner we get to that inventory, the better it's gonna be that we can answer information, and for right now, it's a terrible situation.
And let me assure you that
Attorney-
we're working on this.
Yes, sir.
When can we expect that judge's clearance?
I don't know. We had affidavits that we filed from the clerk of Superior Court, from the election supervisor, and also from the county manager. And those would be the appropriate people, to object, since they are the custodians of those records. And they all three agreed, so hopefully it will be in the next week or so that we'll have a signed order.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, the next item is Sunday voting for the May 24th, 2022 general primary and special election.
On February the 14th, I requested some pretty precise data, so I'm reading from the email. It says, please send me a copy of the 2022 Elections Office budget. Please provide the projected expense for Sunday voting with line item expenses. And I do reference there the $1,000 estimate. That really needs to be clarified. That was not a firm piece of data. And please specify what is meant by resources. That resources was later qualified by an email from Mr. Newland, which I appreciate. In the meantime, I've done some research of my own. My background is in quality assurance, and I came across a little ditty years ago. In God we trust, everybody else bring data. Here's some of the data that I found. First, voter turnout. In the 2018 general election, 823 people participated in early voting on a Sunday. It comes from available public records of voting. In 2020, general election, 712 people participated in early voting on Sunday. In 2020, in the Georgia State general election, 38% of voters were African American and people of color. Next heading, cost of Sunday voting. Gwinnett, Macon, and Bibb counties average between the expense for Sunday voting, $2,000 to $4,000 for Sunday voting in 2020. Now, as you know, Gwinnett is large. We are more closely associated with Bibb. Now, Spalding County spent $680 for 2020 Sunday voting. Not 1,000, not counting some ancillary expenses. That was 85 cents per voter. Recently, the state of Georgia and Spalding County has come under scrutiny in both national and local press. Going to hire a PR firm to assist with the election board's public relations is a major expense. Offering Sunday voting would go a long way in fostering a positive image of Spalding County. That's my report on the data.
Thank you very much. Anything further?
Just a question. Kim, have you been able to pull that 2018 data from the, any of the records that you have access to at the office?
For the percentage of the May primary?
Anything on 2018 at all from the
For the
office?
May primary, I was able to. We were not able to find out what, it does not specify by day. It only gives us a total turnout for advanced voting, which was 6.79%.
Where are those records?
In the office.
So waiting on the inventory?
Could that be part of what we gotta look at?
Pardon?
Could that be part of what we have to look at to get that exact data from Spalding County?
Exact data, if you, to get technicalities, that is an inventory. We're waiting on an inventory to be able to access that inventory. We do not have access to that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I don't think we have the data that we need. I appreciate Mr. O'Brien's research, but it's anecdotal. And until we have factual information, I would vote that we table this until a further date, until we have that inventory completed.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, how long is this gonna go on? In other words, we asked for specific data about funding, it's yet to be provided, resources, and staffing. Okay, so if we're gonna table it, we need a firm date when this data is provided to us.
When we have the inventory, we give you a firm date.
Sorry.
It's not gonna, it's gonna be too late.
So there's a motion on the table.
There is a motion on the table. Do I have a second? Then I will second it. All in favor? All opposed?
We need the data.
I'm
We
opposed.
need the data.
Okay, the motion did not carry,
It's no action.
so there's no action. And we will carry this on to the next month when we will have all of our board members here. And we'll now move on to the next business. Is Virginia Galloway here?
Yes, sir.
We'll have a presentation by Virginia Galloway.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for allowing us to come and visit with you guys. So quickly, I want to introduce our parent company, Sunline, which is a Georgia company with an international reach. And what we do at Sunline is we create solutions, software solutions for businesses and government entities, including some Georgia entities like the Attorney General's office and that kind of thing. But we saw a need with some of the reform that's been going on and some of the things in the last election to create a solution just for elections. And that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. And that is called Ballot DA, which is not District Attorney. It's Digital Assistant, your Ballot Digital Assistant. So again, it's a Georgia company. I have my boss with me tonight, I'm happy to say. He is the founder of Sunline and also the architect of the Ballot DA solution. And so we'll hang around after the meeting, after you guys have executive session. Since I have such a limited time, I'm just gonna make my presentation fast and then we'll hang around to answer any questions that anyone might have. And if you wanna see the program, we'll demonstrate it. But let me quickly run through our 4 solutions. The first solution is about absentee ballots. You digitize, track, and report the status of absentee ballots, which by the Senate Bill 202 you have to do anyway, report that status. So this will give you a digital graph and show you exactly where every ballot request is in the process for absentees. So you get a request, you scan it in, we say you have this many requests. If the information matches, it pulls it out of the database, the state database, the information to match up the IDs. And once it does that, then you can send the ballot. If it doesn't match, then you can figure out what you need to do next, the cure for that balloting process. So we're really excited about that. Then when the a ballot comes back to you, you scan it again, it matches it all up with that previous data and says, okay, this one's ready to count. You know, you got a request, it matched, and so you can put it in the count pile. So that's how that one works in a nutshell. Then the one that I'm super excited about, I'm the Director of Education for Ballot DA, and we have online poll worker training. And this is one of the things that we developed. It's got custom content, which you can add to if you like, but we have made videos and also assessments. Because a lot of times we found that when a county was doing a training, there were people coming in late, there are people coming and going, there's people that just aren't listening, they're playing with their phone or whatever. And if they're doing that, you don't know what they know. So these assessments are short, the videos are short. They can go online, it's about a 3 to 5 minute video, most of them are 3 minutes. And then they usually have about 3 to 5 questions at the end of the video. And again, the election manager in your county has the ability to change those assessments if they want to make them, you know, ask the question a little differently than how we had it. You can definitely do that. So that can be used by your elections office. And also, you can use that same portal to assign poll workers to a specific location. So it's just a drag and drop or a drop-down menu. You can do it either way. So you click up a certain place, you have the list of your poll workers over here, and you just choose them for each location. It just makes it faster and easier. It's a lot easier than an Excel spreadsheet any day of the week. And we think this will reduce phone calls that you get on election day. I know you never get any phone calls on election day, right? But it should help reduce some of those, and also a great ability to message and notify your poll workers either individually or everybody at a particular precinct, or all your poll workers across the board. For instance, if you have a weather situation of some sort and you need to instantly message everybody at one time, you can send out an email through this system automatically, and it doesn't copy everybody else's address, but it'll send it to all of them, or you can send out a text message to all of your poll workers so that they get it in a timely manner. And again, it doesn't share everybody else's phone numbers. So then asset management is the next thing, and that helps you keep up with all your equipment, your LNA testing, who worked on that machine, where that machine was taken, who took it, who was responsible. When you test them, you know, you have to turn them on during between elections to make sure they're updated and that kind of thing. Keeps a record of that. And all this is done from the convenience of your phone. So it just makes the system so much easier. It keeps the spreadsheet of all your equipment, all the notes to do with it, and also keeps up with your consumables like envelopes and absentee ballots and voter registration forms, all those things. I was really interested hearing you talk about your FOIA request because that's one of our solutions also, and that's to expedite the open records request. What it does is we digitize through our system, we digitize all of your records. So there is no plowing through boxes to find things. It's all on your computer, it's all organized, and you will be able to find what you need pretty quickly if you get a FOIA request. And also, if you just get a media request and you need to know some data from a previous year or something like that, you can go back and easily find that data and have it available. So all of these solutions have been well received around the state. We've talked to several counties. And again, we'll wait to answer your questions. The cost, you're probably wondering, how much is this going to cost me, right? And so the cost is based on the county and what services you need and what level of service we provide. For instance, asset management can be smallish, or one county has us doing a very detailed system for them because they're a very large county. So that would determine the cost. But anyway, we'll wait around to hear your questions. I went to the printer. I'll say they misunderstood my instructions, so they supersized my brochure, to say the least. There you go. Bigger than a large order of French fries by far, but I'll be glad to hand that to anyone who, or the election supervisor, is that you or you? Okay, all right. There you go. Anyway, there's your supersized brochure. So we'll hang around. I also have a card for each of you. If anybody would like to call and ask any questions, I'll hand it. All right. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking with you all.
Thank you.
That supersize is on your website already, we checked it out.
We're now ready for the report from the election supervisor. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me, no, we're not. We're ready for the memorandum of agreement between the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission and the election superintendent of Spalding County.
Okay, the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission has, statewide positions for their, district supervisors. And as such, they are sending a memorandum of agreement between the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission to all of the, election supervisors in the state. I have been through their memorandum of agreement, made a couple of minor changes to it, and then approved it as to form. I added the Board of Elections and Registration, along with the election supervisor for Spalding County, since you direct the election supervisor. And I would be more comfortable with the board approving this memorandum of agreement rather than just having the election supervisor sign it without your approval.
Have you guys had a chance to take a look at this?
The only question that I have, if I may, is are these paid positions with the soil, or are these just elected positions?
I have no idea. They're not paid.
Thank you.
Are they appointed by the state?
They are actually elected by,
So there's a campaign, and we would see campaign signs and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion to approve?
Are you recommending we approve
we
it?
need, yes.
Yes, we do need a motion.
You happy to make that motion?
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
And no choice.
Thank you very much. Now we have the report of the election supervisor.
New employees, we welcome Terry Kwan, Election Systems Coordinator, and Sandra Hardy, voter registration clerk. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? No? Now?
Better.
Testing?
Yes.
Testing. That's it.
No, it's okay.
You could,
You're on.
Okay.
I'm hard of hearing, so y'all,
Okay. New employees, we welcome Perry Cron, Election Systems Coordinator, and Sandra Hardy, Voter Registration Clerk, to our office. They both have proven to be a much-needed asset to our office in addition to our team. We look forward to working together to bring Spalding County fair and transparent elections. Qualifying for May 24th, 2022 election. It began on this Monday, March the 7th, at 9:00 a.m., and it will end for this Friday, March the 11th, at 12 noon. Qualifying is held at the Office of Elections and Voter Registration, 825 Memorial Drive. Those interested in qualifying may pick up their paperwork between the dates and times noted above, complete paperwork with notarization, and return to the Office of Elections and Voter Registration no later than noon on March the 11th. The following seats available for qualifying for this election are as follows: County Commission District 2, County Commission District 5, Board of Education Districts 1, 3, and 5, and State Court Solicitor. Qualifying for the May 24th, 2022 election. Qualifying for the completion of the term of County Commission District 5 will begin next Monday, March 14th, 2022, and will end at noon on March 17th. Requests for absentee applications. We began receiving requests for absentee applications on yesterday. At present, we have mailed, responded to, this has come in through via our email, by phone, or in person, 67 absentee applications. That's just in response to. Those actually have not been received by our office. It's just, we have mailed out that many to those who have requested the application. Redistricting, update on redistricting. The House bill for Spalding County redistricting legislation has been signed by the governor, and the redistricting process is nearing completion. The Secretary of State's office is aware that we are in the problem-solving phase now, which mainly consists of coding streets, which are divided by several districts along with precinct lines. I would like to publicly extend gratitude to Brian Haynes with GIS and the staff members of our office who went above the call of duty to ensure we are encoding each and every voter correctly so that he or she will receive the correct ballot. Voter registration report. Report for February the 1st through February the 28th, 2022. New registrations, 52. Voters transferred into Spalding County from other counties, 136. Moved out of Spalding County, 94. Felons, 15. Moved out of state, 38. And deceased, 82. Voter registration, audit, and review. Files A through Z, that means the alphabetical files of our physical voter registration records of over 46,000 voters are out of order as reported in last month's meeting. Therefore, we have dedicated one team member of our audit review team to alphabetizing only so that the process can proceed without continuously pausing with a voter registration when a voter registration record cannot be located. There are 9 alphabet letters which have been processed through the checkoff comparison to the voter registration database. However, there are numerous records within this range that are being further reviewed due to the following scenarios. Registration date does not match. Name changes not accounted for. Address changes not accounted for. More than one registration number for a voter. Deceased, moved OC, and we abbreviate, forgive me there, but moved out of county, moved out of state, felon voter registration cards which have not been pulled and filed accordingly to those categories, and other miscellaneous discrepancies as well. So I detail this for you all so that you understand why this process is prolonged, the completion of it. We also have one team member who decided not to continue working with us. Therefore, we will be replacing that vacancy. I predict that this process in forming a full and complete report will be completed within a month. This is an unfortunate expenditure for our department, but one that will be well worth the cost to bring our records current and up to date. New voter registration system. As you all are aware, we will be the Secretary of State's office will be rolling out the new voter registration system called Jarvis on March 15th this year. We have viewed several webinars and there are more planned which introduces the system Jarvis and also just continuing education. We had 3 employees to attend in-person training on March the 2nd along with 1 webinar attendee. Addressing issues. Open records requests have been, as of today, have been responded to with either an answer to the request or a date in which an answer will be received by our office. Pitney Bow postage machine, as you all know, we were in the midst of acquiring the lease for the new postage machine, and it has been installed and has already proven to be an asset and much needed convenience to the office. Sunday voting for the May 24th, 2022. You asked me as a board to compile information, and that is what I'm providing for you now. And I apologize, I have here what I'm adding to the information, but due to qualifying taking place also, I was unable to insert these things, but it will be in my amended report for you, okay? But I will inform you of those things today. So these are the facts. Records reflect that Sunday voting took place on May 31st, 2020 and October 25th, 2020. Records reflect that Sunday voting did not take place during the January 5th, 2021 runoff and February 9th, 2021 special election. I pause there to let you know this is all that I have access to in the office. And this took more than a couple hours to go through, research the boxes, pull, etc., and to pull this information for you. Records reflect that Sunday voting, records do reflect, and you have this with you. You have 4 different budgets that I provided to you. And records reflect that Sunday voted was not budgeted for the years 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Percentage for the entire advance voting for the May 2018 general primary turnout was 6.79%. I do ask the board to please consider the fact that in reference to Sunday voting, and you discussed this previously, that the employees of the office would be working 13 days in a row. As election supervisor in 8.5 years of experience, election experience, I've witnessed the stress during a busy, heavy election period of time. Just please consider that as you make your decision eventually on Sunday voting, this information. I will abide, as the election supervisor, will abide by the board's decision and while following the law set forth in the Georgia Election Code. The approximate cost for a Sunday voting would be between $1,500 and $2,000 for our county. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I believe that we need to amend the agenda at this time.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask for an amendment to the agenda to add a call for a special election. It slipped my mind, and I do apologize to the board. The Board of Commissioners last night voted to call a special election to fill the unexpired term of Don Hallbaker, which became vacant as of yesterday, March the 7th. And therefore, we need for this board to also approve the call for that election.
Do I have a motion?
I'd make a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Second? All in favor? So I guess now we'll have discussion on that, huh?
We need a motion
Just
to
need it?
discuss
Okay.
if that's, before you a motion and a second to discuss.
Yes.
I'd make a motion that we conduct a special election to fill, as per the language.
Don Hallbacher's
Yeah, that you just
vacancy,
gave
yes.
us.
Do I have a second?
Sure do.
Okay. Any discussion? I don't see any need for any either, okay? All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
So. Oh. Any board member comments? Roy? No?
Nothing.
Alfred?
No.
Jim? No?
Not this time.
No. Thank you all for coming. We're now going to move into executive session.
We need a motion to go into.
What is when's your special election, what's the date?
The special election will be held on the same day as the general primary,
Thank you.
May the 24th.
Can I have a
And-
motion to move to executive session?
Make a motion, we move to
And
executive
a
session.
second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Passed.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Fine, thank you.
This isn't a break, we're about to go into executive session, but, Mr. McLean, could you give us the reason for,
He has family problems.
could you
Actually, a
please?
family tragedy.
Hey, everybody, hold it down. We got one more piece of business to take care of. Thank you.
Mr. McLean, if you wouldn't mind giving us the reason that we're going into executive session according to your agenda?
Yes, the reason that we're going to executive session is the chair requests an executive session to discuss or deliberate on the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or disposal, or periodic evaluation or rating of a board of elections or registration member or employee as provided in OCGA 50-14-3
.6, and the county attorney requests an executive session to discuss pending or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought or to be brought by or against the Spalding County Board of Elections or Registration, or any officer or employee in which the Board of Elections and/or officer or employee may be directly involved as provided by OCGA 50-14-2.1.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second, somebody.
Yes.
All right, now would you mind calling for the vote, please?
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
We don't do this every day.
No, we're trying to get, and I almost said, you know, we're doing it.
But they didn't budget for this $1,000 to spend.
Yeah, go.
Become safer.
You should have. You should have had me. You should have had me. There.
No, thank you, though.
Well, I mean, this was one of the main reasons they wanted to fire most of our black representatives that we had in charge here. So, yeah, no, and the people from our district led. I'm like, why? So, when they started Mercy originally, there was like the majority of the folks who worked with her, we, because of the amount of violence and frustration that we experienced.
With Bill's case.
No, that's not him. No, that would be, well, they're pretty much all of the Republicans are solidly into the steel ridiculousness that none of them can show any proof of. They kick out of every court in the land. Okay, so that is very true. So, but what I would like to highlight, just so that James Dutton doesn't get his feelings hurt again. So James Dutton didn't personally, because none of us believe that James Dutton personally got into the dumpster. So there's we've been naming him, we've named him Dumpster Guy Dutton. So he is actually one of our county commissioners. He's a county commissioner, and instead of trying to police and enforce that we have integrity in Spalding County, he decided to hype everything and follow that Orange Cheetos commander stuff relentlessly. And anyway, so while he didn't personally jump into dumpsters, he did make sure that jump into dumpsters. Yeah. So he was there to encourage that ridiculous behavior. And so the sheriff's office got pulled out of their usual stuff of doing good in our community, had to go down, packed up everything out of the dumpster. Then they had the Secretary of State came down, investigated everything that was in the dumpster, came back and said, we ain't got no guys. And then they went gloss over it, that we wasted all that time and money and effort over a dumpster that had stuff that was supposed to be in the dumpster. It's a box that was taped closed, so they could move it without dumping everything out of the box. It's probably falling apart, because it probably wasn't put together correctly. See, here, right, put together, okay?
You know it's about to. You know it's about to.
So they're taped closed, because
exactly what's